on Rock Rage Radio. I am Joshua, John, the American Helljack.
Welcome to After Dark. You are...
This is Flomentum.
We have our, like I said before, our very special guest, Flomentum. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
I'm doing good, thank you.
Pretty good, thanks.
We're all looking around at each...
Right, there's a lot of
we
people
have
up
a
in
full
the
studio. I love it.
There's people behind me.
I know, the more the merrier.
Right.
Wedged in like shoehorns. So, how's everybody's week?
Besides snowed in?
Yeah.
Cold riding?
Staying inside. Built a snow fort.
Yeah.
A lot of snow skateboarding. Yes.
That's awesome.
I did not. I prefer the indoor activities in the winter.
I still play with fire. I was playing with fire last night. Got yelled at by my neighbor at 5 in the morning. But
That was fun.
That's the thing.
It's a perfect time.
But at least they didn't call the cops. He came over, like a good neighbor, and was like, "Hey, quiet it down."
Now, when you say spin fire, what's that mean?
I had my fire poi. I was just doing some fire spinning. And Sarah over here, she was playing with her fire hoop. And it's a hoop with the fire on the ends. And for anybody that hasn't seen fire spinning, it's various forms of flow arts that you can do, whatever your particular prop is. But people do all sorts of things like devil sticks, juggling, fire poi, which is like what I do, like knots of Kevlar, when the monkey fist knots on chains, and you spin them around yourself,
cool.
around your body.
That is cool.
It's almost like martial arts.
Yeah,
I
a lot
I
of
was
people
just
say
thinking
it.
the nunchucks.
Yeah, a lot of people say it reminds them of martial arts.
We actually do have fire nunchucks too. Not here, but we got a buddy that spins them.
Nice.
Fire nunchucks.
What's your favorite?
I just do poi, and I spit fire. So I do the fire breathing, and I do I eat fire, like with putting it out in the fleshing, so you like get little fire trails on your body and such. That's what I do.
Right.
I'm Soup, so grab a hoop and get in the loop and grab his hoop and join the Soup Hoop Troop. Basically, I'm the hooper. I also do fire breathing with Jason. I do fleshing and eating fire, and try to teach people about fire safety and how to actually perform with fire and keep us all safe so we don't burn our minds on fire.
So,
Right.
what got you started? Like, what made you think this is what you wanted to do?
Well, me personally, I saw it at the Ledges.
Okay.
Nelson Ledges was the first time I ever saw people doing like a fire show, and I thought that it was very mesmerizing to watch the
One
flames.
of the hippie fests out there?
Yeah,
love it.
and I mean, I've seen videos before of people doing it in like Hawaii, and
Right.
they do like some fire dancing and stuff, and I was always like, man, that just looks very like, I don't know what it was about it, but just something like with the fire and just having that peaceful state in your mind, but at the same time you have this intimidating fire in front of you.
It's like an adrenaline rush?
Yeah.
Would you compare it to? Alright, cool.
What about the other three in the back? What kind of fire throwing do you guys do? So it's a big studio tonight. It's got a lot of
Well, I spin fire. I had a spin poi. I had a similar story to Jason's here with just seeing it at the Ledges for the first time. I was watching a band and they actually had it up on stage with them.
Right.
And I thought like that was the coolest thing in the world.
I've had some of the best times I can't remember out there at Nelson Ledges. I ain't
You wake up and all your beer is gone. You know it's a good night.
and you're in someone else's tent that you've never met before. I've had that happen. Go on.
Well, I just started fire hooping this summer for the first time. I met these guys at a drum circle, and they all were fire spinners, and they just were like, yeah, you hoop, you should just try it, spinning fire with it, just do it. And, I just jumped into it one night, and then for my birthday, Soup actually made me my very first fire hoop.
Nice, man.
Nice. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took like 4 years to try to get this hoop to work right. Don't know how many different fire hoops I've made and different props. Oh, man.
It worked.
Very nice.
My name's Luke, and they call me Skywalker because of the way that I spin fire, I guess.
Nice.
That's cool.
My story is pretty similar. I went to Ledges, and I was very inspired by one person in particular, and it was very magical. I saw someone putting a lot of emotion into what they were doing and being very real and flowing with it, and I went home and I asked my grandpa for some tube socks. And I said, Grandpa, can I have some socks? He gave me socks. I was all excited. He starts laughing at me. And I'm like, dude, put the racquetballs in them, started spinning them. I was so happy.
Yep.
Well, I only spun a couple times a month, and a professional saw me spin, and they're like, hey, you want to spin? And being able to perform so early on, it was like a dream come true. It's something I never thought would happen for many years. And it just happened. And then just like our tribe, we all came together because we all express ourselves.
You find yourselves, being a musician, playing in bands, when you're working together, it becomes like a marriage. Is that the way you guys consider your troop? Like you're all connected, and your lives are connected in everything you do.
Yeah, it's definitely like a unit, almost like how when you're in a marriage, like working as a team,
Exactly.
One person makes up for what the other person doesn't really have, and we kind of work like that, where we all have our different skills. Like he's making soup. Soup's making like hoops, and Alex is making poi, and he's like Chris is like our video guy. He does like a lot of our video work and filming and production. And I'm a musician, so I'm a drummer, and I play on pots and pans and buckets, and I do bucket drumming and like very custom percussion, and sometimes they'll be setting them on fire while we're playing. I'll be playing the music to which we're spinning to, so it's like it's a whole performance where it's kind of just
and it's a bonding thing that you can't explain to people that when you perform together. I know for myself, so I imagine for you guys that it's the same thing when you perform together. When you come off with something that so gets the crowd going, has them, it's almost like a religious experience for me. It's something people can't take away from you. You got the, that's between you guys that you created that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you learn to trust everybody from your group too.
Yes.
You're playing fire, so somebody's got to have your back when your back is on fire and you can't see it. So it's a trust thing, and it's real nice. You learn how to play around with people and actually do like partner poi, where you're interlocking arms. So you actually have to have that connection.
So what you're saying is you try to make sure all arguments are settled before. Hey, dude, I just want to say I was sorry about that in the van.
Get the gasoline. I'm sorry.
It's all a learning experience too. As we keep doing each show, we get the things that we do where we're like, oh, that was probably a mistake there. We shouldn't have done that like that. And we're constantly always, managing it to a point to where we can all work together, because we realize that we have different schedules, we all have different people with different personalities, and just being able to get a large group like what we have together is sometimes hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, that's very rare. That's what I was going to say. I've seen different groups. I've never seen.
This is only a part of the group.
I know. That's what I heard.
Very small part of the group.
We call it community more than a group.
It's a tribe.
Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great that you can have that, because in anything nowadays, it's good to have a small, good, tight circle with you, with what you're trying to do. It makes a difference.
People are losing the essence of community.
There's no chief of the tribe.
Right.
So, you're all the chief. You're all putting in your input.
Right. That's cool, man.
It is cool.
It is. He's over there like, that's so cool.
It is cool.
I miss it. I used to have a group like that, and we didn't spin fire or anything, but we did a lot of the drum circles, the meditations. We went to festivals and such, and it's nice to see that it's still,
it's a lifestyle.
So,
it is, and it's very cool to me.
Where do you guys see going with Flomentum? Like, where are you guys on tour, I guess you can say?
Yeah, tell us about what you guys got going on.
We're not on tour. We're actually working this past summer was our first summer coming out of this group. Personally, I've been spinning for like 5 years. Sarah and Chris just started. Luke's been spinning for 4 years, 5 years.
No, I think about 4 or 5 now.
Years. Yeah. So,
Wow, man.
but we've always spun in backyards, hung out together and spun. And this past fall, we were like, you know what? Let's get a group together and actually start doing something with this, right? Just in our backyard and show people what we do.
Well, it goes so well with music and stuff, entertainment. It really, really does.
Yeah.
That's why Pyrotechnics is so. This is like down home. Grassroots pyrotechnics.
Yeah, and kids love it too. Kids really. We did a show for a birthday party once, and the little kids they saw my bucket drum set, and they were like, "I want to play on the garbage." And I was like, "This is my garbage, my musical garbage." And, I was like playing on it, and we had the fire, and they're all just like they loved it so much, and it was just nice to see like how me and Luke, you know, and like Chris, and you know, some of us were inspired in the same kind of a situation where we watched somebody in that like flow state, and they were doing their thing, and we were just like inspired by it, and you know, saw that in somebody, and it's like cool. A magical moment that you take with you for the rest of your life.
You don't know, one of those kids could be sitting there thinking the same thing that you guys did when you first saw somebody, and down the road you're going to see them somewhere. That's what I like to see.
We've even made practice boy for kids. We like handed out, and like Alex has made before, like shortened practice boy, and little kids were like, "I want to do it," and they're like.
Nice, man.
And starting early, they've already got the mobility.
Yeah, they're moving their arms around. They're like trying to practice and stuff.
That would be something. Fire throwing classes for kids.
That's a good event, though, right?
It is.
It's because you don't have to actually add fire
to their fire. It's the art of
practice.
The art of poi and like the flow. That is just it's like a dance form, like pretty much.
We do this show out in Fairport too, Fairport Harbor, and it's community every Thursday. During the summer, they ran it for like 8 weeks. Every week was a different band, and we sat up on the side and spun our fire. I brought hula hoops and practice poi for all the kids to do it while they saw us spin fire, and it was a great time. It's pretty nice to reach out to the community and see everybody come together. And
a lot of them saw it for the first time. They're not used to like seeing people that go out to like festivals or that kind of environment. They're used to seeing the fire spinning. You're almost desensitized to it, but it's like I've been doing it for so long now that it doesn't even affect me, but you sometimes go back to that thought of like before you ever even seen it. And it's like you see it, and it's just like, oh my god,
like somebody can actually do that.
Is that real fire?
Is that really burning?
Now, have you guys got to go back and perform at Nelson's Ledges, the place that inspired you? That's got to be like a cool. That's got to be that cool, like whole.
Are you gonna
come full circle? Yeah. You can play anywhere else, but man, that's where that's what started you. You want to be in that spot. I understand that feeling.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get it worked out to spin fire party in the park. I'm trying to work with the coordinators there.
We had we had a festival at the Legends. It was a fire dance festival. It was all about the fire and community, and it was the first time they did it this past summer. And they had the burn unit as well as like our group when they let us do the fire performance for Saturday night there. And
awesome.
Me and like a group of people we were with, we did the bonfire and we built like the fire there, and the whole festival was like that kind of a feeling. It was one of my more favorite festivals at the Ledges, actually, because it was more like close kind of community kind of a feeling rather than.
So when are you gonna try to get on the bigger, like the vans, tours?
Like travel around somewhere and
why not?
Omentum on tour. Yep.
They don't have it. It's
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've never took it out as a possibility, but we've never been like trying to like think about like that's what we're about to do right now. We've just kind of been focusing more on like the shows that we've been doing around here and kind of getting down more of choreography together as a group and like more of like our stage presence and as well as like some of our equipment that we've been building up now because we've been playing, doing our shows for. I don't know how long you'd say, like last year or so.
This summer. That was it, really.
And we were doing stuff before then, but it was always like we were still kind of a group and practicing together, but it was only this whole last summer that it was actually like shows that we were getting paid for, and it kind of started accelerating pretty quick, faster than I expected.
Oh, that's often how it happens. People see what you finally, what you're, it's like you try, and then poof, someone sees it and bam, it's like snowballs.
And then the world goes by at 3,000 miles.
I got a ride.
I was really interesting. I got these gray hairs, honestly.
What's up, dude?
Just laughed.
We thought you wanted a segue.
I was just like, hey, come on, man.
So how much fire spinning have you guys seen?
I've seen a group at Nelson Legends. But I don't know if it was you guys, but it was. I always wanted to figure out how to do that and like harness the pyrokinetics in some way. But yeah, no. If you can actually do it with mental, think of that. Like, but no, I don't know. Just in, like fire itself, because I've actually came from a line of firefighters, so I've always kind of been drawn to fire. So it's like I don't know, literally hold it in your hands is kind of badass.
Yeah, catch your whole arm on fire.
Right.
That's when it gets real fun.
I've seen seen a lot of them at festivals and stuff like that, and just like you guys and different places I've played. But I can't say that like that's something I'd want to do. I'll be honest with you. I can see me set myself on fire very easily. I'm not very smooth with things, but I definitely, to watch it is just phenomenal.
We can set him on fire. It's okay.
For the right amount of money, you can set me on fire. I'm always for sale. I'm just a slip and fall at Walmart away from being rich. You know what I'm saying?
I always try to fire breathing. That's a completely different experience.
Yeah, that seems like it would definitely take a little more. You're putting it in your mouth. You definitely have to be more careful.
I got chemical pneumonia this last summer from it.
Crap.
It was,
breathed in.
Yeah, it wasn't the proper fuel. I mean, it's not always the safest thing, but I was in the middle of a performance and kind of just went with it. And Soup handed me the bottle, and I had it in my mouth, and I was already like, "This."
For about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I planned on holding the fuel in my mouth while I was spinning, and then I was gonna spit this big flame out, and it was gonna look all like cool, and like it did the first time I did it, but it was the right kind of oil. This time I did it, it just wasn't. I started to feel wrong, and I'm like, I gotta get this out of my mouth. And I spit this really sweet flame, and it looked awesome and everything. But then I like ran off to the side of the parking lot, started coughing, and I was coughing for a half hour straight. I couldn't breathe. Every time I tried to breathe in, it just got so deep into my lungs. And then I was good the next night. I was fine. And then like 5 in the morning, I just had like a bad fever and chills, and then it didn't go away for 2 days. I just felt horrible. I went to the hospital, and they're like, "Yeah, you got pneumonia and deep in your lungs." And
jeez.
So yeah, don't spit fire if you don't know what you're doing.
see, folks, they actually put their lives on the line so you can smile out of it.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's intense.
And all right, so before each show, is there like a pre-game meditation warm up? Yeah. Like, how do you warm up? No pun intended. Like, how do you warm up?
I don't really warm up. Sometimes I do. It's more just grabbing my prop and kind of just playing with them, not on fire. Just kind of. Or sometimes I'll try to stretch out and just do some simple stretches so that I'm like a little loosened up. I mean, everybody's probably got their different.
I do different style of hooping. I do real like elongated with my arms stretched out and like bend over and hoop and just do different things to kind of get over being stiff, and so you can actually move. You're about to be dancing. You can't go out there stiff as a board, in my opinion.
Soup's got this this own special move he does where he does this little jitterbug dance with his feet, hooping that no one else can do.
I can't help it. I
know, just seeing Soup and picturing him just being so
really
good
awesome.
with a hoop and doing his jitterbug dance.
You're a tall dude too.
I'm 6'4", 260.
Yeah.
Do you ever multi-hoop?
No, I'm not good at that. I leave that to the girls for that. They can move their hips a little better in their like midsections, which that's what we need for 2 hoops. There's a couple moves I leave for the girls. Like the one-legged, pick your leg up in the air and stretch out the body.
Keep the mystery.
I might be able to do it, but
that's kind of one of those like gender things you're talking about with the spinning, where so there's girls who spin poi. But there really isn't too many. Just as the same with hoop, there's some guys that hoop, but most of them are girls. So it's it's pretty balanced. I mean, everybody kind of does a little bit of both. It doesn't seem like it's all preference.
I never thought in a million years I'd be hula hooping. I never set off to be like, I'm gonna go be this awesome hula hoop. I actually was dating this girl and she hooped, and I was like, oh yeah, you're cute. But she introduced me to this couple that taught her how to hoop. It was a guy and a girl. And I saw this guy rock this hoop. And I'm like, dude, you make that look sweet. You're not feminine with it. It actually looks cool. How do you do that? Like, it's your dance partner, bro. You just spin it around your body and step through it, dance around it. I'm like, all right, let me see one of those things. And kind of went from there.
Nice, man. Always looking outside the box. That's what you got to do with everything you do.
Outside the hoop.
Outside the
hoop. Gotta get in the loop, man.
So, we totally want to see it. So I think we should take a break and maybe see if we can set up a little video, and so y'all in the audience can see when you watch the video, of course, not on the radio. Haha.
You can hear the fire.
You can hear the fire burn.
The fire sound is one of most people's favorite things about
it is for me.
If you have no music, it is very beautiful.
That's why they have a channel on Netflix. That is just fire.
It's just cat
the
firewood. They had it for Christmas. I'm like,
they still have it, and they have a bubbling brook too.
It's relaxing. I can sleep to it. I go on my phone, put on fire sound, and just listen to it and go to sleep. I don't really do that, but I
He
would
would.
speak to it.
All right, well, we will be back with a Flomentum on After Dark.
On Rock Rage Radio.
Welcome back to After Dark on Rock Rage Radio with Josh and John and me, of course, and Matthew. And we've got Flomentum here.
What's up?
Yo.
Hey.
We were just outside on break watching them. Everybody's still pumped up. It was very, 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 very cool.
They're like jittered. They're like, I want the
flame. We started to just get going, and now we're like, now we just want to keep going.
You got that feeling of, I am the god of hellfire.
We like to spend for like 2 hours or so at a time, you know.
It's very cool.
Yeah. It's been
I feel
for
like
5
I'm out of
hours
it
straight.
now.
Right.
So you guys, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming on. What was your take on it? You're just staring at me, Joshua.
Because I'm just listening. Give you credit. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun to learn. You know, it's a journey.
All right, so if you had to describe it to the audience, how each part, how would you throw the fire? Like your big man over here, he can move.
Soup of the Hoop.
Soup. He can't.
It's like a Dr. Seuss book. Soup.
There's actually a verse. Do you know the soup hoop verse or something like that? The hoop troop that goes to make soup or get some soup with the hoop troop. I don't know. It's a Dr. Seuss book. It's a bedtime story one. It's pretty funny actually. I got a buddy that quoted it for me.
That's the actual story.
Yeah, it's an actual story about the soup troop that's going to get soup.
Nice.
Get soup.
I liked when you cupped the fire and lit each one as you went around. That was
that's a little bit of fleshing. It's called when you light your skin on fire. Better environment. I can actually do my whole arms and light your arms on fire and pass it flame back and forth between 2 sticks of fire.
Wow.
So
It's very cool. We have questions that we often ask our guests.
Okay.
And Josh, you had the question.
You guys had to make a movie of Flomentum. Flomentum coming soon. You know, like who would play each other? What would the movie be about? What would the movie be about?
I think the movie would be about a journey. I'd say learning about yourself and listening to music, meeting the people, seeing the culture, music culture, and going through it and all the good times and bad times you have screaming at each other because you're lost in the car going to the festival, you know. Everybody has that moment if you're traveling with somebody.
have you ever made the statement, you can spin fire, but you can't read a map? You know?
There's a lot of things you can do and not do. I don't know.
Yeah, getting lost, going to the mountain, 4.5 hours away.
Yeah,
you know?
7 hours later show up.
I'd say that I would hope that the movie at least like would have like an overall message of like, you know, self-discovery, of learning what you feel your mode of expression is, because in order to be fully happy in life, everybody needs to discover like that thing that they can do to express themselves in any kind of way, whether it's like a dance or singing or music, instead of just thinking that all of life is just, you know, working, you know, some job you don't like every single day, and just, you know, it's what you're supposed to do, get a job, have a kid, get your house, get married, and, you know, live that, you know, fake American dream and just play that out. Instead, you know, you need to have that sense of community. You need to have friends that have the common interests that you can gather with weekly, and you need to have that like form of expression that you can do, so everybody has that like own unique
I like
thing.
that.
Hell yeah.
I think that to throw fire, something like this, you have to have a lot of trust in yourself. So that goes along with, I mean, you have to trust that you're not going to burn your face off.
You have to be calm and relaxed. You know, it's like a meditation. You know, when you do it, normally for me, it's not very extreme at all. You know, it's actually very calming. When you're done doing it is when you get the major adrenaline rush, and then you smile and you're like, oh wow, you know. But it calms me more than anything else. And you have to be relaxed, especially when you're throwing stuff, spinning stuff, you know, center points of balance. It's all about being relaxed and just, you're dancing, you're flowing. You don't have to think and do it. You're just doing it.
Well, I did notice that a lot of you shut your eyes often throughout.
Yeah, you should close your eyes and dance.
Well, I just like to say, if there's going to be a Flomentum movie, I think Matthew McConaughey has to play Luke. I'm just saying.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes, you know.
All right.
I can totally see it.
I get like Johnny Depp's cousin or brother sometimes. Jason gets Johnny Depp a lot as well because he looks like Jack Sparrow, but in a very magical way.
Very magical way.
I think
All
Luke's
right.
flirting with me.
Oh yeah. He's looking for those cold nights in the van on someone he can cuddle up with. I'm just saying.
I don't know about all that.
Just long road trips to the festivals.
Oh yeah.
All right, what I like though is how'd you do the visuals? The way you guys move, like from a front view.
How do you choose what?
Yeah, because the way you're spinning and the way
The isolations.
yeah, like it's actually like a 3D image almost. Because you guys are
The
completely,
flowers.
Yeah, you guys are completely blacked out. Do you guys do that on purpose, or like how do you sync that up? Because when you're looking dead on, I know you're in the, but when you're looking dead on, you can. He even saw it too, when with the different, like the way you guys get the shapes, it's perfect. Like, how do you just do that on a whim? Like, you know what? Let's just try this, see what the hell happens.
Some of the stuff is like made for if somebody is facing you. You know, we're always trying to think about how we're spinning, like how it's looking to the audience. So there's times where if I'm just spinning by myself, I might be on all planes around me. But if it's something where there's a camera or there's people, you want to like be doing things that are creating certain shapes. So he's got like his isolation hoop, and I got like certain stuff with poi, and you're creating certain shapes, and those are actually practiced like things.
Illusions, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of time in front of a mirror.
Yeah. A lot of time just
or
watching
filming
yourself.
filming and getting footage is like the best way.
Well, plus, you gotta take into consideration that, you know, I play music too, and you play music, and Jason plays his bucket drums, but normally the crowd's in front of you when it comes to music, but a lot of the time with our fire tribe, the crowd is all the way around you in a circle, so they see every single thing that you do at all times. So sometimes it turns into something where you're doing stuff everywhere, all around
Right.
you. Sometimes the fire's around you, and sometimes you got to go around the fire. You know what I'm saying?
See, the Matthew
That's the
McConaughey
perfect
thing.
quote.
I'm telling you, that's what's. You know,
You
what
gotta
I'm
put
saying?
that quote when you do the.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, it's getting late. I don't want to wrap up, but it looks like we probably should.
Okay.
All right.
My adrenaline's still up. I want to go out and play with fire now.
I do got a question though. How would someone go about finding you guys? How would you guys go about teaching them? How would, like, hey, you know what? You want to throw some fire? Let's do it. How would you guys go about that? Because when they, you know, www.what? Where can we find Flomentum?
Yes.
We got a Facebook page, Flomentum Fire. You can look it up on there.
All right.
And it's FLOMENTUM, right?
And we also we offer a fire safety and intro to fire poi workshop at the Starwood Festival that we did this year, and that we'll be doing this year as well. So if anybody ever is into giant fires and awesome community,
That's just on the other side of. It's just into New York, right?
no, not out there. It's in Wisteria now, which is down in
okay, that's
Pomeroy,
right.
Ohio, near West Virginia.
Nice.
I believe, what is the date start? Was like July 11th? Somewhere around
Second
there.
week of July.
Yeah, it's the second week of July. But yeah, we usually do the fire show there, and we have workshops, so people that are interested in that kind of thing can come and learn. And we're also at the Ledges during Classic Fest and at the Fire Dance Festival. Fire Dance is also like a community learning kind of a thing. So generally, if you're at those kinds of events and we happen to be there, we're always, or if you're at some other local show.
Now, would you consider, since you guys got inspired by the Ledges, and when you get to go back there, is that like your home turf, like, you know, where you start? Is that kind of like the feeling with that?
I don't really know.
There's always extra part of my heart for, I guess, those Ledges, my backyard. You know,
Yeah.
you go to these other festivals, we're traveling 4 hours away.
Right.
You know, you go to other ones, you go 8 hours. You know, you go across the country, you go to a festival. This one's, 45 minutes, hop in your car. I've gone there, gone to work, and went back. So,
Right.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love Nelson's. Oh shit! Out there.
Yeah, I had an experience there. It was interesting.
Last question though,
So-
before we go though. Is that all right with you?
Oh, yeah.
Last
yeah,
question.
yeah.
How'd you guys come up with the name Flomentum?
Our friend Christy actually came up with it. We actually sat for a while, like, with lists of names, just forever. We were just thinking of something, and we just didn't want to force it and make it like it was a voting thing. We all kind of just agreed. We're like, if we just keep coming up with names and throwing them in a pot, you know, like, and just thinking about it for a while we keep doing our thing, something will just stick. And we had, like, I don't even remember what the list was that we had of, like, our final conclusions, but, like, that one was just something where it was really simple. It was one word. I'm all about the one word thing. I kept pushing that. I'm like, if you can get something that's clever and it's still one word, that's how you got to go. And I'm always going to remember some, like, weird half a sentence or complicated words that don't make sense. It was just to the point.
Right.
And, like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be fire with, you know, it just fits with, like, what we do. You know?
That's cool. That's McConaughey over there.
I would like to say too.
Party at the Moon Tower.
We always like doing like birthday parties. We have kids' birthday parties, and it's a real enjoyment seeing the kids' faces and seeing how much they enjoy us going there. And also teaching the kids how to hula hoop and how to do poise. Just practice ones, not on fire, and actually give them something to play with and look forward to doing. We've done weddings. So pretty much any kind of nice little event, and while we're at the events, we're always open to show people, give them practice stuff, and they can go from there. I will say, don't let your first time by yourself. Make sure you got somebody with you and knows what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, we usually never promote people just trying to spin fire. Sometimes we make it look too easy. Like, we're just sitting there, we can have our eyes closed and be really relaxed, and we're just doing it like it's nothing. And I've seen people try to be like, oh, I can do that, and they do it, and they hit themselves in the face because they try whipping the poi too hard or something. And it's like, you should always get, like, some practice in. You, like, Luke said, you can get socks. You can get, like, a sock with a tennis ball in it or something, and or, like, a beanie bag thing. Hacky sack and some socks, and those are good practice tools.
And where are you going to be coming up that they can see you? Do you have any
shows, any performances?
Any upcoming shows?
Are you going to do the July one again?
Yeah, we'll be at Starwood again, so we'll have that with the workshops and everything. We'll be at Classic Fest. We'll probably be doing the Fairport Harbor Summer Concert Series again this year, so that's like a weekly thing every Thursday.
Nice.
7 or 8 weeks. Goes on.
So, and it's always different.
Keep us updated, and we'll share that out.
Yeah, and as far as like recent shows, it's been winter, so we haven't had any. We've just been a lot of practice and working stuff out schedule-wise and figuring out what we're gonna do for the year.
They're rocking it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's gonna be a pretty busy year this year. I can already tell.
It's a good year.
Yeah.
2015.
Definitely.
Right.
Rock it out.
We're rolling.
All right. Well, we are out of here for the night. It is Valentine's Day weekend.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's
Yes.
Day.
Happy Valentine's
Yes.
Light that fire in the heart. Happy Valentine's Day.
Look at you.
Good night.
We will catch you. You got something to say, John?
No,
Go
nothing.
ahead. All right.
I'm just riding and rolling.
He's looking for the Warriors. You guys seen that movie right before we go out? The Warriors?
The movie The Warriors.
The
I was
movie?
clueless
Come out
too.
to-
I'm
Oh, the
like,
movie?
what?
Yeah, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know what the Warriors
The
is.
Warriors.
I'm in movies, remember?
I like it.
And on that bombshell, we're out of here.
Rock
This is
Rage Radio.
Good night.
Good night.
This is After Dark on Rock Rage Radio.
Catch you next time.
Wow.